none of the stuff we've been talking about so far is really where the rubber hits the road. What people really want to know is this. If God is loving, why do evil and suffering exist? Why are things so difficult? Why is it pain? Why couldn't God just create a universe where there is no pain and there is no suffering, right? That's the most common place all of my conversations with non-believers goes. This is really the question they want answered. All the other science and all of that, they didn't really even know about any of that. They were just looking for excuses to back up what they already thought. And what they already thought was, life kind of sucks and it's kind of hard. And that's really what they wanted the answers to. And so we're going to talk about it. What is the atheist answer for suffering and existence? Well, the universe is bleak. That's just how it is. Richard Dawkins, who I listened to this was a mentor to me for 20 years. This is what he has to say. In a universe of blind physical forces and genetic replication, some people are going to get hurt. Other people are going to get lucky, and you won't find any rhyme or reason in it, nor any justice. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, and no good. Nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. DNA neither knows nor cares. DNA just is. And we dance to its music. This is ridiculous on lots and lots of things. But let's start with what he described. No design, no purpose. No evil or good. What's the first thing we talked about? Evil and good. Dawkins says there is no evil and good. But Dawkins knows there's evil and good, and he acts like it, and he calls it out every day and tells people like me that I'm wrong. How am I wrong? If there is no evil or good, how am I bad? He calls believers wicked. He says Christianity is an evil thing, right? Well, of course, that's what he said for 20 years. Now he's whistling a different tune that his country filled up with Muslims. But this is his attitude, that there is no answer to suffering. So when an atheist comes to me and says, you got to give me an answer to suffering, I ask them why. They have not provided one. Who did? What's the problem? If this is just how the world is, we're all just physics dancing to its own music. If we are just matter and we don't matter, why do we all expect that we do matter? Even atheists expect you to act as if you assume this about yourself and everyone around you. They expect you to act like you matter. They expect you to act like they matter and all the other people around you. They want you to be decent, polite, and operate according to rules they've just made up 5 minutes ago. Based on what? He even said there's no evil and good. Why should I do anything, he says? Why shouldn't I take his wallet? I've thought about it, just to prove the point. But seriously, why should we all assume that good and evil do exist? Why do we seem to expect in our innermost being an existence of benevolence and beauty? Why do we think of anything short of this as unfair? Why do we expect the world to be fair? And we all do. As a little kid, that's one of the first things we'll stand on. Hey, they got more than me. This ain't fair. Why would we expect fairness in a world of pitiless indifference? Because we are moral beings, capable of seeing good and evil. Even when we choose to look away with indifference and cruelty, which is what the atheist solution does, it doesn't solve the problem of suffering. It does exactly what I just described. It looks away with cruelty and indifference. What Dawkins is doing is what he describes the universe. He's projecting on the universe. It is him that doesn't care. It's him that has indifference and cruelty, not humankind and not existence. What is your God doing on a cross? To me, this is how I answer the question of suffering. I get this question from Muslims, people like that, who are being blasphemous. They're asking me this as a dig. They're saying, your God is a suffering peasant. And they're saying it as if that's a bad thing and that should deter me from belief. But the God of the Bible is the only God that even makes a claim on the subject of suffering and presents not just an answer to the question, but a solution for it. No other religion will give you an answer to suffering. It's just part of life. They're trying to get away from it. Ask a Buddhist what he's trying to do. He's trying to not exist anymore. That's what enlightenment means. He's trying to eventually not exist objectively. He's trying to, and he says it's really hard to achieve. No, thank you. I don't want to work really hard to not exist. Like, that doesn't sound good, but why are they doing that? Why do they say that? Because to them, they say existence is suffering. They think that being a being is in itself suffering.
How is that really wrong though? Like, it is.
No, they're correct that if you are a being, you will experience suffering in the way that we exist here. If you are this kind of being,
experience not suffering.
But why do we think it's all suffering? Because we've never experienced anything that's not. But then why should we expect it?
Good times.
See,
exist.
this doesn't make sense, huh?
Good times exist.
Good times
Life
exist.
isn't
Sure,
only suffering.
sure. But why do you expect all of life to be like those good parts?
I don't know that I expect it.
You do. You get upset when it's not like that.
Well, yeah, I'd like it.
So then you're
And
expecting it to.
I expect it to be suffering, but I would like it to be not.
Why should there be any standard for good? This is a good life. This is a bad life.
That's true.
Why am I suffering or am I just existing? Okay, well, God answered this question by coming down and experience it himself. Jesus Christ incarnate comes down and takes part in human suffering. He is not a distance from it. He is not a God who sees it and it just acknowledges it. He came to earth and experienced the suffering himself. It's much deeper than that, though, because if Jesus said, if what he said was true, he's taken upon himself all of the things that cause suffering also. The blame is on him now. He's taken it on himself. So when people say, well, I blame God, Jesus says, that's fine. I'll take that. I will take that blame. I'll take all of that. He's saying, not only that, he'll take upon himself the things where you cause suffering. Does that make sense? See, we always think about our suffering, but we don't think about the fact that we're the cause of suffering. We cause other people's suffering. When we mean to, when we don't mean to, our just existence causes some other people suffering because they're in their own thing too.
Yeah, you ever
right?
drove on a 4-lane highway?
Yeah, there you go.
You're guaranteed to make people mad just by existing.
So, all the times that we cause other people suffering, Jesus takes that upon himself too. That's what sin, the sin he takes, that's what we're describing. He's taking all of that, all of the sickness of this world that causes that suffering, even the natural kind. Because people say, well, what about natural disasters? That's not really humans' fault. Okay, in a certain way, that's true. He takes that too. He created it all. It's all on him. He even takes ownership. I don't remember where, but he says that I caused the calamities. I do this. So our God doesn't leave it open. He says, not only do I have an answer for that, but I'm going to come and run through this with you so that you don't have to, like he lived a human life. Jesus lived a human life incarnate. So we have no excuse with God. We can't say, you don't know. You just don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how it feels. He does know how it feels. You don't know how it feels. He was scourged to the point where he wasn't recognizable as a human being. They whipped him with leather straps with glass embedded in it. They tore him to pieces, and he suffered and died on a cross in order to, what? Why? Why do all that? Often I hear preachers that make it this legal requirement and all of this. Yes, that's all true. But the Bible explains all that God does require justice for our sins. But why? Why did God do this? Why would God create this world in this way and then come and redeem it in this way? Atheists are right in saying that God would be able to see the end from the beginning. So anything that does happen, he allowed. They're right. Why? Why does God allow this? Any answers?
I mean, I've changed in some of my suffering.
Yeah. How about the knowledge of this? It helps me infinitely with this problem, with suffering. Like, we all think, like, woe is me, you know, like, I'm in this bad situation, and then we all feel like we're the only one, you know, because we don't have any way to connect to any other person that's experienced those things. So we do, for all practical purposes, you're experiencing something that no one else ever has, as far as you're concerned, you know. And so that distorts the whole image. But when Jesus comes down and takes part in our suffering, not only in our suffering, but the worst human death the Romans could think of, and they thought about it a lot, right? The crucifixion was horrible. Why would God send his son to experience that in front of us?
So we can relate.
Relate, that's a good point, yeah, so that we could kind of draw from that and get from that experience what, though? Like, what's he communicating?
To be an example to serve others.
Example? That's exactly where I'm going with it. His character. He wanted to show us who he is.
Like an expression
Yeah.
of his love and devotion and
Yeah.
sacrifice.
100%. What possible thing beyond this could you show the character of a loving God who would put up with you? Because that's the way I see it now. He puts up with us. He was resurrected to show you that he had the authority and power to claim all these things that he said. This is why he died in the way that he died publicly and was raised in the way that he was raised publicly, so that he could justify his authority claims that he's made. His resurrection was the assurance given to you that the promises and claims that he made were reliable. He says he'll raise you from the dead. His disciples didn't believe it. Not truly. Till they saw what? Yeah, till they saw Lazarus walk out of that tomb. And suddenly it became not... See, they've heard rabbis talking about all kinds of things, but they've never seen it. Jesus told them these things, and they thought of it just the way the rabbis talk. It's a bunch of talk. But he showed it to them, right? He will raise you in the same way he was raised into eternity. All right? So when you die, where do we go if you're in Christ? To the Lord, right? And where is Jesus?
With the Lord.
Sitting at the right hand of the Father, right? And where does the Father inhabit? Eternity. So therefore, when we die, we are raised into eternity before the resurrection even. We are soul and spirit with the Lord. This eternity is this place that's written into our hearts. In, I think it's Ecclesiastes, Solomon says that God has written eternity into our hearts, but in such a way that we cannot know what God has done from the beginning to end. That's a really weird phrase. God placed forever in our hearts eternity, but not in such a way that we would know eternity. It's interesting, right? And it's exactly the description of what I explained earlier, that we all expect this world to be right. We all expect this to be perfect. We expect love and caring, and we expect fairness, and we expect all these things. Why? Because it's inside of all of our hearts. God has told us what things should be like. He's placed it on us. He's told us this is what it should be like without your sin. Without the damage that you've caused to creation, that's what creation is like. It's perfect. There is no sorrow. And what has Christ promised that he will return this place to? To that state. So, why do we expect it all to be perfect? Because God put it in our heart to let us know that this is wrong. Just like with the law of the Old Testament tells us how bad we are sinfully in behavior as human beings, this eternity that's written in our hearts tells us how broken this world is. That's why we're miserable. We should be miserable. We're in a place that's filled with all of the damage caused by all of our sins. And it's real. This is not a woo-woo thing or an explanation for metaphysics. This is physics. Like what I'm talking about now is very real. And it's very real to me. I threw away everything that I knew to be true when I found that this was true. All of that other stuff that I thought was like speculation at best. I was guessing. And I was guessing based on the math and science that I've just shown proves this narrative and not the one that I had created. So this is the Christological solution, the gospel of grace. Why does God allow evil and suffering? Because God allows for the wickedness of men until the day of judgment. And that stay of judgment allowing that wickedness is the only reason me and you are allowed to exist. We don't want to put us into that position, but that's the deal. If God destroys all the causes of evil and suffering, that includes me and you. So you want this world to be perfect right now, you're gone. See, we always think about the fairness and all of that, but we don't stop and think, if there was a world that was totally fair, could I exist there? Am I fair? Am I perfect? Am I true? Am I right? And the answer is, of course, no. Now, Jesus says that he will fix that for you, right? And that's the answer. Jesus saves us from what? I get that a lot too. Jesus saves us from what? From that. From the correct, actual thing you deserve based on reality and truth and existence as it has to be. Jesus has told us he's the truth. We think of it as, okay, what he's saying is true. No. He's saying that he is truth. He is, if you go searching for truth in any of the ways that I did, you will find Jesus. He is the answer to all those questions. He's truth. And what he's describing as the thing that we need solution to, this sin and this and all this, is this downstream effects of giving us the choice to choose. Does that make sense? We have the choice to either choose to go along with this salvation, or we have the choice to reject it. But now, knowing all of this, who would reject this? He claimed authority over existence and proved that he had it. He told us things that no one else could possibly know that turned out to be true in a Hubble telescope, in a James Webb Space Telescope. There is no reason to doubt Jesus Christ. So, that's it. That's the answer. Any questions about any of this? If we're still stuck on the suffering, this is my favorite quote from Charles Spurgeon. I am afraid that all the grace that I have got of my comfortable and easy times and happy hours might almost lie on a penny, meaning all of the learning and getting close to God that he's gained from the happy times can rest on a penny. That's what he's saying. It's nothing. It's like a tiny bit. But the good I've received from my sorrows and pains and griefs is altogether incalculable. Affliction is the best book in a minister's library. What in the world did he mean by that?
You learn from the hard times.
Yeah.
And you gain appreciation and compassion.
Yeah, in the hardest times of our life, we learn the biggest lessons. It's really hard to learn something when you're happy, because it's all good, and you're not concerned with that.
Your
But if,
reliance is on you.
yeah,
Your reliance isn't on the Lord. It's like, oh, I got this. Everything's good.
or it's the opposite of that. It could be both of those. It could be, I got this and it's all good, or
I don't
this is
need
a complete mess, I'm a disaster, and all of that, but I still am not going to rely on God, right? So the problem really wasn't even your situation, was it? It was all just attitude. And look at this attitude. He says, glory be to God for the furnace, the hammer, and the file. What he's saying is, thank God for all these problems you've given me, because heaven shall be all the fuller of bliss, because we have been filled with anguish here below. Earth shall be better tilled because of our training in the school of adversity. People think, why is there suffering if God's got a plan? And they don't ever stop and think that maybe that is the plan. That suffering has a purpose. That our struggles are meaningful. And they're not just pain for no reason. Anyway, that's it. Those are my reasons. Well, at least the top 5. Those are my reasons to believe. I'll